Dear learners, in this video we will be learning about the poem Church Going by Philip Larkin. The contents which are to be discussed are about the author, then the poem text along with its summary, then the themes, by the end, poetic analysis. Philip Larkin was born on 9 August 1922. He is a British. He was working as a librarian. He was educated in St. John College in Oxford. He have written poems, fiction and non-fictions. He worked as a assistant librarian in local libraries. Later, he was appointed as a sub-librarian in universities. He died on 2nd December 1985 at the age of 63. Now let's see poem text and its summary. Church going. Once I am sure there is nothing going on. I stepped inside, letting the door thud shut. Another church, matting, seats and stone, and little books sprawling of floors, cut for Sunday, brownish now, some brass and stuff. Up at the holy end, the small neat organ, and a tense, musty, unignorable silence. Brewed God knows how long, hatless I take off, my cycle clip in an awkward reverence. So church going begins with the speaker describing his initial action phrase. He is entering into the place in the first two lines. It is unclear to the reader where exactly the speaker is and what exactly he is trying to explore through these lines. The reader who couldn't understand or know the place from the title, they will be going to know by the next lines. The speaker checks to make sure the structure is clear and step inside. He mentions that the fact the door closes with a thud behind him. It is both sealing him into the space and keeping the exterior world out. Then there is an important word mentioned in this section that changes the feeling of the poem. Another. So another. This is not the first time that he has entered into an abandoned church or simply empty church. The speaker glances around and he notices all the items that are consistent throughout all the churches that he has visited. The book sets, the stones and the seats. He is unsurprised by these sights. He also takes in the fact that there is some brass and stuff up at the holy end. This way of referring to an altar at the front of the church says a lot about the speaker. Among all the physical things he notices, he also feels an unignorable silence that is overwhelming in the space. Then coming to the second stanza, move forward, run my hand around the font. From where I stand, the roof looks almost new, cleaned or restored. Someone would know. I don't. Mounting the lectern, I pursue a few hectoring large-scale verses and pronounce here endeth much more loudly than I would meant. The echoes snigger briefly back at the door. I sign the book, donate Irish sixpence. Reflect the place was not worth stopping for. So, the speaker moves forward in the front of the church and runs his hand over the pews. Once he has made it to the front, he looks around and notices that what seem to be completely repaired. So the roof is now restored, or he is thinking that whether some people are coming here to clean the roof or something else. Then he continues his journey through the religious space and he takes to reading from the Bible. He speaks a few large-scale verses. Then he projected voice coming back to him in an echo. At the end, he departs after leaving 6 Irish pences, an incredibly small amount of money, in a donation box. He comes to a conclusion that this place was not worth visiting. So in stanza 3, "It stop I did, in fact I often do, and always end much at the loss like this, wondering what to look for, wondering too, when churches fall completely out of use, what we shall turn them into. If we shall keep a few cathedrals chronically on show, their parchment plate and pinks in locked cases, and let the rest rent free to rain and sheep, shall we avoid them as unlucky places?" So, from the third stanza, he seems to have some kind of inner conflict about his attraction to churches. He knows and knew that there would not be anything new inside because he stopped anyway. This is unusual for him. He often does it and winds up in the same mental space. He does not yet know what he is looking for, but is always left with one specific question. He is curious about what the church will be like, or what the human race will utilize all the church for when the very last believer is gone. When they have fallen completely out of use, will they be avoided as unlucky places, or will it be the places where the sheep will be full reign over their places to graze some grasses or which have been grown in an unused place? So coming to the fourth stanza, "Or after dark will dubious women come to make their children touch the particular stone, pick samples for the cancer, or on same advice night see walking a dead one. Power of some sort of other will go on in games, in riddles seemingly at random, but superstition like belief must die. And what remains when disbelief has gone? Grass, weedy pavement, brambles, or buftrous sky?" So in the first stanza, the speaker continues his contemplation of what the church will become when all the religious devotees have passed on. One idea the speaker has about the fate of these places is the continued existence of their power. He considers the possibilities that in the future people will still come to them for a variety of spiritual reasons. Mother might be bringing their children to touch a particular stone for luck, or perhaps people will be coming here to see the dead walking or like ghost. He knows the power of some sort will go on. Even if the traditional religion context is lost, the superstitions belief will be keep on surrounding the place, and he wants that to die. The disbelief, the superstitious belief. So he wants those things to die. All at the building will be grass, brambles, buttress sky. Other than that, there will be some few walls surrounding them. Then coming to the fifth stanza, shapeless, recognizable each week, a purpose more obscure. I wonder who will be the last, a very last to seek this place for what it was. One of the crew that tap and jot and know what route lofts were. Some ruined Bible, randy for antique or Christmas addicts, counting on the whiff of groan and bands and organ pipes and mites. Or will he be my representatives? So in stanza 5, the time passes, this architectural element will fall further with despairs. It all takes some time. He is considering who are the very last believers or pilgrims or seekers of truth will be who entering the building. What he wonders, will this man or woman think as a final remnant of the dead religion? The last person he assumes will be one of the crew who know what a root loft. This is a reference to what is more commonly known as a rood screen. It is a feature of late medieval church architecture that was situated between the channel on the nave at the front of church. In the final lines of these stanza, the speaker contemplates who this person is. Will they be the Christmas addict, or someone who is there solely to seek out organ pipes or mirrors, and all the religious ephemera of the church. Lastly, he considers the option that is seeker will be, as it he, someone who is uninformed and unclear on the purpose of religion. Then the sixth stanza. Bored, uninformed, knowing the ghostly silt, dispersed yet tending to this cross of ground, through suburb scrub because it held up split so long and equably, what sense is found? Only in separation, marriage and birth and death and thought of these, for whom was built. This special shell, for though I have no idea what this accounted Frotsky brawn is worth, it pleased me to stand in silence here. So in the sixth stanza, this he says that this the last visitor, the person might be as he is curious about the place because of its long-lasting nature. It is held upspread for so long, one might wonder what has allowed it to survive. Because if it is a frost born is worth, and how without knowing its worth it can please on to stand in silence here. If there is a worth for a land, everyone will be selling it or using it for a financial purpose. But as even the church at the end, it has no use. That is the thing the author is trying to say. So no one has have ever touched the place. So it is ever standing as it was in before. Then the seventh stanza. A serious house on serious earth it is, in whose blend air all our compulsions meet, or recognized and dropped as disdained, and that much never can be absolute. Since someone will forever be surprising a hunger in himself to be more serious and gravitating with it to this ground, which he once heard was proper to grow wisen, if only that so many dead lie around. So in the seventh stanza, that is the final stanza of the church going, the speaker's own thought, he returns to its own thought, contemplating what could be, and resumes his own present musing. Up until this point, the reader might be under an impression that the speaker holds no real regard for religion or true structure of the church. This is quickly dismissed with the first line of this stanza. He states that the church is a serious house on serious earth. It is a true story and worthy purpose and should not be made fun of it. It is a place where all the compulsions and our impulsions of the humans meet. So, it is important enough to be remembered forever. The church will forever bring out the hunger is one of the cannot be discovered through any other means. The discovery of seriousness will remain within one until an end. The man or woman who has rediscovered something in themselves will take it with them to this ground. They will return to the churchyard and places where so many dead lie around. So then, now coming to the themes of the poem, the role of the religion in the society. Because the religion doesn't just support one mentally. Some religious practices, like in church, in the Sundays, they will be offering food for the needy people or those who visit the church, and that they are socializing. By that, they are getting more communication contacts and uses throughout their life. So, the religion is playing more love by spreading love and humanity throughout the society. Desire for human connections. So, more than the spiritual connections, we need to have a human connections. We should have a connection with one another, with our neighbor or with our family, with our friends or the people whomever we meet day to day. So from these connections, we will be able to gain more and more exposures and ideas. So there he mentions the desire for human connection through the divinity. Experience of visiting church. Each and every spiritual places like temples, mosque and church, each will provide us with various different kind of unique experience while visiting them. It might be their infrastructure, it might be the practice of praying, it might be the practice of the people who are present there, it might be the culture of doing their rituals. But these experience of visiting church were brought out through this poem by the author. Then the poetic analysis. The church going is a 7-stanza poem, each consisting of 9 lines. The poet makes us think by asking several questions like what will happen when everyone becomes a non-believer, or who will be the last believer, or who will be the one who to visit the church at the last. What will happen to the church when no one visit it to pray or gather? Because if you are not visiting the church for praying or gathering, there it won't have any use in their life. So it will be an useless place. These interrogations brings out the losing interest in spirituality day by day. That is to be discussed about the poem Church Going by the author, the writer, the librarian Philip Larkin. Thank you.